Hello, this is Pastor Stephen Anderson from Faithful Word Baptist Church in Tempe, Arizona. And today we're going to learn how to count from 1 to 10 in Greek. So we've got our arithmi. Arithmi means numbers, okay? You can think of the word arithmetic. So I've got the arithmi, the numbers written on the board here, from 1 to 10. Our first number is ena. Then we have δύο, τρία, τέσσερα, πέντε, έξι, επτά, οκτώ, εννέα, δέκα. Now, I think that this is a great thing to learn early on when you're studying Greek, how to count from 1 to 10, because this is something that you can practice all the time. All throughout our lives, we're counting constantly. Let's say you exercise. Maybe you're lifting weights or you're doing pull-ups or whatever. You're probably counting repetitions. 1, 2. Well, instead of counting in English, you can count in Greek, and then you're just constantly practicing. Just other things in life, maybe at your job you do a lot of counting. You know, I have to constantly count my kids to make sure I have them all with me because I have 7 children. So this is just a great way to practice your numbers. Back a long time ago when I was in Kung Fu, we would count in Cantonese whenever we'd be practicing any punches or kicks or anything. And to this day, I remember how to count to 10 in Cantonese. Ya yi sam se lok chat bat gao sup. Because I just practiced it so many times, you're never going to forget it. So this is something that you're going to want to practice a lot. Get these numbers just drilled in by every time you need to count something, you know, as long as it's not super important and you don't want to mess it up, practice your counting in Greek instead of English, okay? So let's talk about these words. We've got ena, which means 1, okay? Now, a couple of other forms that you're going to want to be familiar with are just en and mia. Now, the reason that there are multiple forms for these is that in Greek, we know that nouns and adjectives have gender. We've already talked about that, masculine, feminine, and neuter. Now, the good news is most of the numbers only have one form. Like, for example, δύο is only one form. Pende, έξι, επτά, οκτώ, εννέα, and δέκα. Those all have one form. But a few of these have different forms for different genders, okay? But when we're counting, we use the neuter form. So these 10 words right here, ena, δύο, τρία, τέσσερα, πέντε, that's all the neuter form, okay? Some of these take different forms for masculine and feminine that you're going to want to be familiar with, and you're going to see them when you're reading your Bible in Greek, for example. But one of those, of course, is ena. You're also going to see another form of that without the A on the end. You know, you're going to see basically N, and then you're also going to see Mia, all right? So those are a couple of other forms that you're going to want to be familiar with. But when you're counting, just use ena, all right? Because that's the one that you count with. Then δύο, good news, only one form. Τρία has another form, τρεις, all right? And τρεις is going to be the form that's used for masculine or feminine. So when you're going neuter, it's τρία. When you're doing masculine or feminine, it's going to be τρεις, all right? Τέσσερα also has a different form for masculine and feminine, which basically just involves throwing an S, an ES on the end. Instead of τέσσερα, it's τέσσερες, all right? So I'll write it out. I don't have a lot of room here, but I'll try to squeeze it in here the best I can. Okay, τέσσερες is going to be the masculine feminine form of that. Pende only has one form. Remember, this tough, that looks like a little T, whenever it comes followed by the ni, it is pronounced more like an English D. So instead, it's not pente, it's pende, all right? So, ena, δύο, τρία, τέσσερα, pende. Then we have έξι, επτά, οκτώ, εννέα, and δέκα. And of course, these all only have one form, which is good news. Now, let me say a word quickly about the differences between modern Greek and biblical Greek, or what we call Koine Greek. The differences are pretty slight when it comes to the numbers 1 to 10. Okay, this number right here, τέσσερα, is going to be spelled, instead of an alpha here, it would be an epsilon. So in modern Greek, it would be tessera. Now, you almost can't even tell the difference. Tessera, tessera. I mean, it almost sounds identical anyway. Just a slight difference in spelling. And then another slight difference is that when you come across this word in your biblical Greek, exi, you're just going to lose the iota on the end. X, it just becomes X. So when you find the number 6, it's just going to be X instead of Xe, all right? But other than that, I mean, they're pretty much identical. Obviously, in modern Greek, you're probably not going to write in the breathing marks, which are not pronounced using modern pronunciation anyway, whereas in the Bible, you're going to see the breathing marks. But honestly, counting from 1 to 10 in modern Greek and biblical Greek is pretty much exactly the same. Ena, δύο, τρία, τέσσερα, πέντε, X. Because if we're doing biblical Greek, we're not going to do Xe, just X, epta, octo, enea, δέκα. Now, these are pretty easy to remember because they do resemble English words and prefixes, okay? We've got ena. Well, ena, if you know Spanish, doesn't ena sound kind of similar to uno? So maybe that'll help you remember. Ena is similar to uno, all right? And then δύο, of course, we can think of a lot of English words, you know, like a duo. A duo kind of looks the same as this, or a duet. Δύο, so we got ena, δύο, τρία. We can think of a trio or a tricycle. Tessera, okay? One thing that helps me remember tessera, when I was a kid, there was a video game called Tetris. And it was all based on the number 4. You know, if you scored a Tetris, it was like 4 lines in a row. All the pieces were made of 4 blocks. And so Tetris actually, you know, can be derived from certain forms of the number 4 in Greek. Tessera, all right? Pende, you can think of the pentagon or a pentagram, okay? Pende. X is obviously similar to the number 6, but also we have a hexagon, okay? A hexagon is a polygon with 6 sides. So X, epta, okay? How do we remember epta? Well, when someone has 7 children at the same time, it's called septuplets, right? And also our month, September, comes from the number 7. You say, well, September's the 9th month, right? But if you'll notice, all of our month names are 2 months off numerically. For example, December, Spanish 10 is diez, all right? December. November, Spanish, nueve. Obviously, it derives from Latin, but I'm using the Spanish because we in Arizona are a lot more familiar with Spanish than we are with classical Latin, okay? So, you know, December, diez, November, nueve, October. Obviously, we can recognize October is derived from the number 8, octopus, okay? What comes before October? September, okay? Because the sept there is a prefix that has to do with the number 7. So September, October, November, December are months 7, 8, 9, and 10, okay? Because of the fact that throughout history, most calendars have started in the spring. You know, so March would be like the 1st month, December would be like the 10th month, okay? So that's why the numbers of our months are like 2 numbers off, because we start in January in the winter, whereas most calendars throughout history have started in March in the spring. So that's why we have those numeric months, September, October, November, December. And that can help you remember these because epta, September, octo, October, enea, November, δέκα. Now, δέκα is pretty easy to remember anyway because δέκα is a prefix that we use in the metric system. Of course, I don't use the metric system, I use English, but decagram, decaliter, okay, the Decalogue is a name that sometimes people call the 10 Commandments. So δέκα, and then enea is 9, octo, very common prefix in English, just remember octopus, octo, epta, think septuplets, September, epta, X is 6. So let's just blow through these one more time. Write these out over and over again. Practice them, memorize them, and count with them whenever you need to count in your daily life. Ena, δύο, τρία, τέσσερα, πέντε, X, epta, octo, enea, δέκα.